Everybody, in this video I'm going through steps on how to install the Exos launcher very briefly, and then go through the process of exporting data in a test data tool. So before we go to the exporting the data in the test data tool, I would like to go and show you briefly how to install everything from scratch. So under the Exos launcher um, repository, which is one of the branches, you will find, if you click on the Exos launcher in the beanstalk, there is a folder called readme.md, and it explains everything about how to first about the Exos launcher, installation of the Vagrant plugin, which you need that, as well as related projects to get the cloning the repositories such as Journey UI, .connector, clients, scheduling middleware, so forth and so on, as well as other ones for ops. Definitely these are the repository as well. And then in the host file, you need to have all of these in your host file, otherwise it won't work. So this is basically steps to create your own local environment. And then after everything is done, so you can do the Vagrant mice config equal journey.yaml op. You could of course add other ones like a Journey UI and then ops as well in one command line, but this is just a one. And then such as here, like for instance, if you want more than one, of course. And then this is extra commands, and then you can actually also, if possible, you can do these subset of the services like this in the command line. But we go through the test data tool to explain to you everything in there on a web browser application. So basically it's all here. You can go through it and read it. Once you have all read and ready to go on and have the Vagrant plugin installed, then on the command line under this directory Exos launcher, once you have that Exos launcher in your after you clone it, so you can execute this command, and then it will bring in the test data tool. It will take some time to launch it. Okay, so this is the test data tool, and as you see here, my active configuration files are Journey UI, Journey YAML, and then ops YAML. And the applications that are up, so Hatem up is the clients.connector, Journey UI, and ops. So now the most important part of this presentation is how to do the steps, the steps that you can export the data in a test data tool. First of all, you can actually make some changes, let's say in a dot connector. So I can go to my local dot connector, and let's actually go back to beginning of dot connector. Here is the local. Once you have everything set in, and then I would say all this I just did very quick, but once your environment set, after setup and serve, you will get this basically URL with the port number for each of these local environment. So for instance, for the dot connector is 9090, and then for client, I believe the 50, or it's like a 5000, and for the uh, admin 8080, and 3000 for port 3000 for the Journey UI. So these are just a FYI. You need to know those. But other than that, the most important part is that how to do the exporting the data. And again, back to dot connector. And here is my local dot connector. So I want to do very simple and basic changes. So I choose the client path, and for sake of our presentation, I choose the Intel. And then in the Intel, let's see, yeah, in the client's path, I'm making changes. Like, let's say, for instance, I wanted to add this line, how to hack hydration, the NFPA and nutrition 001. So I click here and then save. So I say update. And then after that, I go to the test data tool, and then I go to run the data export, which I go down here. I usually use the keyboard arrow keys versus the mouse, so it will highlight the button, like here, the data export, and then you click return. And then here it will start exporting data, test data export, as you see. And so while you is doing that, I open another terminal command line, and choose the dot connector. So let's see, clear here. So make sure it's, so I go to the dot connector. And so here on the dot connector directory. Yeah, pwd dot connector. So I wait until it's done. So it'll take it some time. Hopefully it's not too long. Okay, so it's done. Now I'll go to cd, change the directory to Utopia data, and export. So in the export, then I will ls minus l, and I see all these JSON files. So, and as you see, all today is the October 22nd, and all these changes made. but I made only one change. I would say there's a client's app JSON. So what I do here, I say move all JSON file to the previous directory, which is the data. And then I go to data directory. So here I make sure that's on the data, okay? And then here is the most important thing before we go forward. You make sure you say git pull that we have a latest in the dot connector before we go forward. So here there were some changes made beforehand. Now, and the next command I use is a git diff. Actually, before git diff, I say git status. And as you see, there are two changes made: client app JSON and path.json. And if I show you git diff, you'll see that there were some changes made here. There were also beforehand, but most important thing is I made some changes in here. Okay, and then now I'll do the say commit this git commit this and let's say message with the quotation mark, say for the sake of this example automation, C1 made changes actually beforehand. I just make sure that I have those files in front of me. Git status. Okay, now say git commit -m and say automation 61 and say explain what you did. Say I made the changes, made change in the client path for Intel. Okay, and then in front you make sure, so let's have this completely on the screen so you can see it. Just do the CLI and then tab key, clients, and the underscore, and you will see that. And then next one as well. So you have those, those commit that you're going to make. Basically, these are the two, right? And then, as you see, two files change. And then after that, this command, git push origin. Now you send this to the origin. Okay, all successful. Now after this, so you can go to Jenkins, which is here, and check and wait for the changes to be made. Basically, Jenkins will run and still actually it's not running. It takes some time. And after it's finished, you will see the changes made in the develop branch. So basically right now we are on the develop branch for the doc connector CI, and it will run the do the migration, and then you will see it in your local environment as well as auto Exos auto Intel environment, and that would be basically a confirmation that it's made. And just wait until it's done, and then you will see the once it's started, I will then finish this. But this is basically the scope of the uh, data, exporting data in a test data tool. Just wait a couple of more minutes, and if it runs, should be actually pretty soon, because we didn't make too many changes. Just for your information, I enabled the auto refresh, so every 1 second or so it refreshes the page, making sure that something will be running, we won't miss it. So it's just automatically refreshing the page. Obviously, taking a little bit longer than I expected. So at this point, I would say this is pretty much what I wanted to present today. And let me know if you have any question. Just send me in a Slack channel, text, or email me, or however other possible connection you wanted to make. Please don't hesitate. Thank you very much. Bye bye.